Let's get it. We got the shout out to Jack and Kruger again. We got the top 10 linebackers in the NFL right now. Top 10. Off rip, who we thinking? Off rip. Roquan, Fred Warner. Um, top 10 inside linebackers, off ball linebackers. Who's some good ones? I can't think off the top of the head. I genuinely can't. And what was highlights did I do today? Oh, the top 100. If it's not all the way to 80, I'm not gonna do it right now. Or 81. I mean, yeah, I don't know. All I can think was Roquan and Fair right now. I don't know. I'm blanking.
Okay, top 10 off-ball linebackers. And, I like to do these top 10s every offseason. And I have to say, the off-ball linebacker one is always the most controversial because people just have such different opinions of
It's a
off-ball
little
linebackers.
blurry.
It's a position that you don't notice too often. Usually you either notice when it's
Zero
a really
White.
bad play or a really good play. And a lot of times you don't. Sometimes the really bad plays you don't notice because it's someone else's fault, or sometimes
I
it's
need
someone
an
else's
80.
fault
If
and
it
you
is,
blame
if one of y'all can make a
if they're the one who
playlist,
ends up making the tackle. So it's really
that's
difficult
perfect.
to
Or dude, if you could add
evaluate,
to that playlist,
and because of that, it's
it's only
kind of what makes
87.
it fun to talk about. So yeah, let's get into the list. No honorable mentions here.
All
Let's
good
just
then.
start off with number 10. I am going Aziz Al
He,
Shahir, who, like, listen,
he
okay, he's not everyone's favorite player.
he was in my brain, but like I didn't want to say that because I just don't know the landscape of the entire NFL. But that was one of the names I thought of. But again, I just want to say it and be like feel dumb.
Obviously, the thing he's most known for is his hit on Trevor Lawrence, which got him
Mm-hmm.
suspended for, I believe, 3 games. That wasn't great, but ultimately he is a very good player. I mean, I know that against the Kansas City game, people kind of blamed him a lot for, but a lot of those plays were kind of what I was talking about. Other guys messing up their assignment, and him
I didn't know nothing about that. He was getting targeted versus Kansas City. I didn't. It's my first time hearing that.
having to recover. One was just a blown coverage for on Travis Kelce, and then he had to try and make the tackle. While I do think it is fair to have some criticisms of his coverage, I don't think he's elite there. He might be one of the best run defenders in the league right now when it comes to linebackers. So because of that, I still have him on the list at number 10. Number 9, I did decide to go with Frankie Louvu, a player who,
That's very respectable.
throughout the course
They got similar styles. Both of them heavy hitters. I could just imagine Aziz and Frankie Louvu on the same team.
of his career has been able
Frankie a little bit more athletic though.
to wear a lot of different hats, has been a very good run defender for the most part
Oh,
of his
Wagner.
career. His coverage has
Facts.
always been up and down. It just has. So again, I actually
Facts.
kind of had trouble filling out the final couple spots on this list. You could argue Aziz Al Shair should be ahead of him. He is someone who is, I think a player though that when it comes to run defense and when it comes to pass rush, Luvu really thrives there. In fact, Washington really had him play a lot of pass rush. He had over 250 pass rush snaps last year. That's how much they like to utilize him in that way. And I think
That's
because of
wild.
that, I do think that he is
Was it
a very
was he
useful
rushing
player.
that
That
much
said,
from the
there's some
inside
issues with him on
or
defense.
outside or just
That's why he's
like
at number 9. He's a
a little
very
bit of
good player
both?
for Washington. Number 8 is another guy who does have some
Ah,
coverage issues at times, but
yeah, I
ultimately
didn't.
is, again,
He's not a name that
most guys
popped
are
up in my
bad in
head.
coverage, right? Just are they the stars there? No, he is a star in run defense. He is awesome in run defense. Also a guy who can rush the passer very well. He doesn't do it a lot, but when he does, he's very good at it. But is an elite level run defender who also can play some coverage. So because of that, I have him at 8. He's the Jacksonville Jaguars off-ball linebacker. Number 7 is a guy by the
Ooh,
name
I
of
like that
Jack
one.
Campbell, not the guy who
Jack
used to play
Campbell.
goalie for the Leafs. No, the
That's a good
linebacker
player.
for the Detroit Lions. If that name sounds familiar, you might remember him as the guy who was drafted in the first.
I be rooting for them 6'5" linebackers because they anomalies. You just don't see too many in the league. Like 6'5" 6'5" inside middle linebackers. Like the those guys, they just rare, very rare. So and when they work out, I think that's a huge advantage to defenses. Like to actually have a player that big in the center of your defense, especially being as athletic as he is.
Round
That's a huge
after the
plus.
Lions drafted Jameer Gibbs, and many felt like this was a reach. And through 1 year, those haters were proven right. He struggled his first year. He struggled to get playing time his first year. But this year he's really come into his own. He's, I think, just as good at run defense. Maybe not just as good as those other guys, but at least in the ballpark. And he is much better in coverage. He has become a complete level linebacker. Is a bit of a slower player, and so maybe it just took him a little bit to. He kind of has to have the
I think
whole
he
thing
got
down
decent
for it to
athleticism,
work for him.
especially like
But
for
now
his
that he's figured out
size.
the whole game, it's really working for him. Number 6 is Zach Bond, and listen, this might be a little too
Oh,
low. This
duh.
guy was an
Dang.
All-Pro last year, won a Super Bowl,
I not think
PFF's
about him.
highest-graded linebacker in football. I just kind of struggle with how do I put him. And if you want to say he should be 1, I
Mm.
can't really argue with that because he was number 1 last year. I think the reason why I docked him some for this is just like it's been 1 year. We have seen him be this player for exactly 1 year. He has been nowhere close to that when he's gotten playing time in previous years. So because of that, I just think it's only fair to dock him a little bit and to say, okay, let's let the other guys who I know.
So he's going off of just in general, like who he think is the best, and not just who had the best season. I can respect that because I mean, if we go for who had the best season, obviously Zach Bond was the best middle linebacker last year. That's pretty clear.
Are pretty good. Go ahead of you because 1 year wonders do happen, but like I don't think it's gonna happen to him. I think he is very good. Number 5, I'm going Roquan Smith, the Baltimore Ravens interior defensive line. Well, excuse me, interior defensive lineman. I almost said edge rusher, then I said interior defensive lineman. Off-ball linebacker, of course. You know, that's the video we're doing. Roquan Smith is a player who, he's always been a guy who people disagree with, right? Because he's a big player, and honestly, Baltimore expects a lot out of him. So because of that, his efficiency stats are just never going to look as good as some other players are. But he's also, because of that, going to show up on the highlight reel more than the average player does. But ultimately, with what Baltimore expects of him, and he's able to deliver almost all the time, you have to just be really impressed with
Roquan
that.
got
So
fat and
I know
sucked.
he would be number 1 on some people's list. He's number 5 on
Roquan
mine.
was good.
Number 4
I
on
don't
the
I don't, I
list,
don't
I
remember
am
seeing nothing
going
bad for
with
him.
Levante David, longtime linebacker for
Vontae
the
David.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As a Buccaneers fan, I do have to
Can't say
admit,
nothing bad about
we
that.
have seen him maybe.
He had a really good season
I'm
last
not saying
year.
he's fallen off or anything like that, but I think he has had better years in the past. That being said, you still see him as an elite player to get in position consistently, and also is a player who can, do things like in that playoff game, still run down Jaden Daniels and beat him to the marker. Like David is still an elite level player, and his decline still has him as, in my opinion, the 4th best off-ball linebacker in football. It's just kind of where he used to be, and he still is playing at an incredibly high level. I just feel like he used to be so good that like didn't even matter who the other off-ball linebacker was. They're fine. Like now you need another off-ball linebacker. Like that's basically where he's at. He's only one player now. Number 3, another player who just never gets the credit
Mario Davis.
he's due.
Is he?
So I always try to make sure I give him credit when we do these lists because he
No, that
always
was
makes them.
CJ Mosley who
Demario Davis,
retired.
who is just a star player,
Somebody.
off-ball linebacker, elite in coverage, elite in run defense. A guy who, again, you could say, okay, he's getting older.
Okay.
Is he still
Not who I'm
playing at
thinking
a high
about.
level? Like, yeah, these guys are all still playing
Who
at
was
really
4?
high levels. So
Man, my brain worked the same way, bro. Levante David.
interestingly enough, actually 3 of my top 4 are kind of guys all around the same age. Bobby Wagner is number 2.
B Wags
on my
number
list.
2.
Another guy who is
That's
I think you
super
could
high for
argue
him to be
is
older.
his coverage what it once was, and I would put Davis's coverage and Levante David's coverage ahead of them. I think if especially if I'm like I want a man coverage play, I want Levante David. If I want a zone coverage play, I probably want Davis at this point in his career. Although in their primes, Wagner was the best at zone, I would say, but Wagner's still an elite level run defender while still being, I don't know, a top 5 coverage player. So because of that, that's why I put him at number 2 on the list. But number 1
That's
on the list
interesting.
is the guy who's been number 1 on the list, I think, like every year I've been doing this.
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner. Of course, it's Fred Warner, a guy who is, again, I value coverage very highly when it comes to off-ball linebackers, and he is, I would say the only guy you could argue was better than him last year would be Zach Bond. To me, they were, you could argue either one. Fred Warner also ridiculous in run defense. To me, I have to put Warner still at number 1 on the list, even with kind of all the chaos that went around San Francisco. He still put together a great year, so that also has to be impressive. So, yeah, ultimately, always some interesting discussions here with off-ball linebackers, but those are my top 10. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I mean, you can interchange the order, but I think like the names. I think it's a pretty good list. I think you can switch up the order though, but I think like he compiled, easily some of the best linebackers in the game. So I don't know why these guys. I don't know why these guys were not coming to mind. Maybe I'm because I'm tired. I don't know. But y'all let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like I said, where would y'all rank them? Where would y'all rank them in the comment section? Um, like I said, personnel wise, he did good. Ranking wise, for the most part, it wasn't bad. But yeah, make sure I hit the like button if you want to subscribe. But hit the like button. Stay tuned. Stay blessed.